OK.
Au minute, au 15 minutes, 30, 45.
Si t'as pas appuyé sur ça.
It is 7 o'clock. I will call the meeting to order. Before we adopt the agenda, we have a presentation um, from Human Rights. So if you agree to add that to the agenda, Robert, you have something to add? I would like to talk about the home invasions that are taking place recently with the RCMP. So we will add that to 11.4. And for the session in camera, I would like to add a personal item. So it would be 12.4 personal. So if you all agree, we need a motion to adopt the agenda. Moved by Hector, seconded by Lester. All in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary, motion carried. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest? We will go then to the presentation. We have a presentation from Rails to Trails in Clare. We have two people who have worked hard since the beginning. They have founded the organization. They they were on the administration. They did all the applications for monies and they worked themselves on the grounds. By saying that, we have two presentations, but we have the president of the Clare Rails to Trails, Robert Theriault. Please come to the mic and introduce yourself. He has two presentations to make, so I will make the two first presentations. It is a certificate of recognition from the municipality of Clare to express its recognition to Léolette Leblanc to honor the years of services to the Rails to Trails Association. Léo Leblanc, please come forward. The second presentation is Harvey Doucette. The municipality of the district of Clare is a certificate of recognition to recognize Harvey Doucette to honor the years of services to establish the trail in Clare. Please come forward for your photo. Now we have the president of the Clare Rails to Trails. Uh, he has two small presentations to make, Robert. Thank you, Mr. Warden. Thank you for the councilors to invite us and to have us here tonight for this occasion, a special occasion, for those who are interested in the Rails to Trails in Clare. Thank also to Harvey and Leo who answered our call to be here with us tonight. And looking at the minutes and the paperwork of the Association of the Clare Rails to Trails and its foundation in 2003, there are two people who are still active members of the association. Since those years, it is really Harvey and Leo who really led the battle that so that the trail becomes a reality. They were there since the beginning. They have been there since the opening, and they continue to share a great interest in the trail. So the trail in Clare made the news. It did not make the front page every day, but it is there. And for people walking, bicycling, horseback riding, any kind of mechanical vehicles, we we owe a lot to these two gentlemen for the realization of the trail. I have an expression that I would like to say: the trail is their trail. And once in the future, I will approach the council and I will ask the I ask and I will ask that the trail be called the Dusa Trail, Doucet N Trail. But apart from having worked enormously for the trail, Harvey and Leo are two volunteers, incomparable volunteers. For them, it is not only doing their work, but in English, I have the pleasure again, on behalf of the association, to congratulate Harvey and Leo, especially a great thank you for their huge work. Well done. Thank you very much. I would like to make a small presentation to them. It is something which is more of a souvenir of the association. Do you want to come forward and take a picture? It is a small souvenir. I hope you will like this. Thank you very much. There is a glare in the windows, so move. Thank you, Harvey. It's a small souvenir for your work. Thank you. Next, we will go on to the presentation of badges and certificates for different fire departments. move the chair to see the badge. The municipality of the District of Clare certificate of recognition. The Municipal Council of Clare recognizes Jean Vacant to honor 32 years at the fire department in Salmon River. So we will present this to the fire chief. Good evening, everyone.
Prénom Tracy.
Tracy. Tracy quelque chose. Good evening.
When you go to a report on beach cleanup by Manette will be show. I think she has a PowerPoint to show us. I heard you on the radio earlier. Microphones are not on. It will be just a minute. Manette has a PowerPoint. You need this. It's on. I can see the light. Anyway, I didn't ruin it.
The reason why we are here is the CORD or organization representing disabilities, and last year through the Department of Community Services, some people came to take a course which was called Employability Skills. Diane Robichaud was coordinator and she was the teacher. Louise Leblanc and Gertie Como were part of that group, and we had 8 in that group taking different courses on skills. And at the same time, while we were there, the municipality here asked if we would be interested in having money to clean the beaches. So what was really interesting is that they are taking different ways to see how we can work better, and it felt good because they could be in class and then go out there and work to discover where it is that you work together and different things. So a while back we wanted to come to make this presentation, but a lot of different things took place. So we want to show you in Clare the different things that are on the beaches. There's always garbage coming in, so I want to show you, you gave us $2,000 and I want to show you what we did. And they were very happy. They were happy to see me because they knew they were getting paid. But it's not me who did the work, it's the group itself. But in Comoville, one of these employees was looking around and we had bags. Usually they work an hour and a half on the beach. So they went to different areas and they only called Joey and he came to pick it up. But in Comoville, this is the garbage and it was all picked up. This is a small album that Diane did with them. They were at Church Point here, but in Church Point there is always a lot of garbage around to where the lighthouse was. I don't know if it's the water that brings it in. So Diane got them to think at the same time what thoughts they had while they were picking up the garbage to make our community a lot better. When the garbage is picked up, it is a lot prettier. And Louise wanted to thank the municipality to give her the chance to clean the beach. And she said also that I could read it out of here, it'll be easier. I have my glasses, but I will find it, but Louise is here. Louise Leblanc. And when you think about it, it's unbelievable what is taking place in the community. Gregory here wrote, and I know there are cans everywhere, but people don't use them. So they realized some things that we should all be doing. So Joshua realized that working and being paid is something very good. So this is the garbage, this is the work that they did, and it was only small parts. Uh, Diane was the coordinator, and she said that the so you know that the money was there. So this is garbage that was picked up, but it's not there anymore. I just want to give you the amounts of the garbage. In July 2nd, they picked up 10 garbage bags and about 3 to 400 pounds. There were some balls, leftover balls. That means that they are throwing them away, and these are things that the fish can eat. So there were also 500 pounds on July 23rd. About 500 pounds of garbage here in Comoville. There were window frames, a lot of plastic and steel, and scrap metal. And on July the 8th, there were about 10 garbage bags. On July 29th, there were about 20 bags, about 1,000 pounds that they picked up. So it depended on what was there in garbage. So there were some cables. It was behind Frenchie at the beach, where it says no littering. It was right there. The garbage was full. And also about 300 pounds of cables and stuff. So I just wanted to come here to tell you that we appreciate it a lot, the time that you gave us and the money that you gave us, because we did made a gift to the municipality, the tourists who will go walk around. There were 9 people who went around to clean up the beaches, and you only had to pick it up, so it helped everyone. It was a win-win situation, and we thank you. Any questions? I just wanted to say thank you to the group. It is a lot of work, and if it is not done, we will be a garbage can. And it's true. Everything that we picked up and go to the beach now, it's not there anymore. But there is still some, but we cleaned it up. Thank you. And I congratulate them. They really appreciate it because they learned what it is to work as a group. A lot of them didn't know each other, and we just told them to go, and they had to work as a group, the 9 of them, and it was a learning experience, and it helped the community, and it helped them also. Is that it? Yes? Any more questions? Thank you for all your work. And Manette, thank you. I know that you organize a lot of different projects and you work hard. You and your group and all your groups, you do a lot of good work, so thank you. So we'll go on to the adoption of the minutes of May the 20th, 2015. Any errors or omissions? Under 5, there is nothing arising from the minutes. The Warden's report. On May 26th, there was a supper with the Board of Directors of RANS, where Angélique Leblanc, who is the CEO, presented a strategic plan presentation and with the mayor, warden, and the CEOs to tell them what is coming up. On June the 2nd, there was a meeting of the liaisons of the Oversight Committee of RAN. And just to let you know, from what I understand, there will be small changes proposed to the intermunicipal agreement in terms of the audit committee. So the council here will have to vote on that eventually, but essentially we don't have all the details. The audit committee is recommended to be in REN and not outside of REN, and not an entity of the municipality, but in the structure of REN. So it is a recommendation from the province, and all RENs are going in that side, but when I have all the documentation, we will bring it up. From 4 May to 8th, 4th to 8th, there was the grand meeting. The big subject there was the federal election, and because there is an election coming up, how do you address infrastructure needs that exist across the country? There are all kinds of ideas. There's a small battle for the gas tax. We would like to get more, but for us it could have an impact. But the other thing they are looking at is 1 cent GST, where there are certain parts they are examining to take 1 cent of the GST to have an infrastructure bank to give access to the municipalities to address those situations. But there were a lot of small sessions, but that is more or less infrastructure on the agenda this time. On June the 12th, I met with Gilles Babin, who is the BRI officer for REN. He only wanted to come and meet. They are starting to have visits with the municipalities to have business retention and expansion. So the businesses will have some visits in the near future. June 13th, as you know, there was the supper at the Legion for Dr. D'Entremont to thank him for all his years of service, and in recognizing everything that he did for the municipality, the council made a presentation to him, and they decided to name the health center after him, which will be the Dr. Lionel J. D'Entremont Health Center. For those who were not there, it was a nice evening, and honestly, the whole public that I saw there were very happy with our decision. I did not talk to anyone who was not happy with that decision. On the June 14th, there was an open house at the Legion to just go in and thank Dr. D'Entremont. It was unbelievable. There was a line going as far as outside just to talk to him. And I looked at the people who were outside. By the time they came to him, it was 15-20 minutes. And the line was still going outside. So we couldn't count. There were a lot. He really appreciated that from the part of the municipality. And yesterday, June 16th, they asked me to go welcome on behalf of the council a delegation from New Brunswick who were at Grand Pré and Clare and Argyle. They are just going through the Acadian regions. So the ukuleles played music for them. They had some raw beer. So that essentially is my report. I don't know if you have any questions. I saw it was advertised for a development agent for the rent. I know that the one that they advertise is for communication. You might know, but what they are trying to do is not hire economic development officers like Gilles is doing Brie, but one of the positions is communications and economic development. I think that because Pam is not involved regionally, she was in there, but now we will need another person to replace that position. The approach that they are taking is instead of having 3 or 4 economic development officers, they will try to find people with specialties for the region, which might be good because they know their work. Thank you. Any more questions? I would like to add for the public that in my district and probably elsewhere, the building that we have for Dr. D'Entremont is not the service that was given by Dr. LeBlanc or Dr. Westby's and others. It was a big service, but we were giving a service when the doctors was there many hours a day. He answered to accidents, and it would be impossible to raise a family in modern times, but they made the transition to the modern system with the medical center, and they could recruit some youths to come serve the population. So with Dr. D'Entremont, we recognize all his work, and we recognize the young doctors who are coming in to replace him. So for 37 years he practiced in the Clare municipalities at difficult times where it was not it was hard work, and he came to work early in the morning and sometimes worked till 11 o'clock at night. My father-in-law had a heart attack, and he opened his garage door to receive him when I brought him to the doctor. But one of the keys, the main for the decision to name the building, is the work that he did with the municipality on the doctor recruitment committee and the medical center committee. We cannot, not without being there, it is hard to express how his presence in Sherbrooke was valuable. The other doctors knew about him. I remember once we were at a supper and one of the doctors said, "What brings you to Quebec?" And they said, "We are coming to see you." "You are coming to see me?" And the respect that they had for Lionel is hard to explain. But he brought credibility for us when we went and asked him to come to Clare to practice medicine. And I think that because he was saying it, there was a life to it, and somebody knew, they all knew what he was talking about when he called.
As Robert said, there's a large number of stories, a lot of reasons for this choice. It was really good to have a little talk about that. It's good that everyone should realize how important this man was. Are there any questions or comments? Official statements from members of the council? Neil, I wanted the Beau Vendredi, the Beautiful Fridays are going to commence are going to begin on Friday for 10 weeks. So we invite you to come to Belleville Cove. Are there any other presentations? Thursday morning is the opening of the Sit Cafe at the uh, highway access near Metegan. They've been doing some excellent work there. So if you're in agreement, we should send them a letter of congratulation. Correspondence number 8, request from the Havelock Fire Department in English. How do you want to treat this request? Is this a request to rent or to purchase? Answer: to purchase. We have equipment like that are used for the festival. We support an application from the Bluegrass Association when there's an event that requires a porta potty. They can borrow it, but that's for events. But this would be for the summer. It's not really. It's under grant. It would be under grants to organizations. So I'm not sure how you want to treat this request. Do we know what the cost is approximately? It seems to me it would be around 20,000, 3,000. We support requests for porta potties for soccer fields. They were refused in the past because what happened is that they asked for them every year. But now there's the maintenance issue. They need to be cleaned and there's other costs. But these requests weren't approved in the past. This would be just, there was one at the, a request for the Saint Martin School. It's perhaps something that could be dealt with through the Department of Recreation to look at what the needs are. It's your choice. We don't need to deal with this request this evening. It's not a good practice to deal with requests for funding on the first evening. Something to do with the Department of Recreation, perhaps. We purchased about 8 for the bluegrass. Now, the bluegrass lasts for 3 days, but after those 3 days, the porta potties come back at the end of the summer. I'm not ready to make a decision right away, but we shouldn't say no right away either. This is a community that's quite a long distance from other sports centers. So this is activity for young people. I think we shouldn't say no before we can see what the alternatives are. Maybe the fire people could deal with maintenance. I know that people have called me and with the suggestion to call the bluegrass. They lend their equipment, but there's also the maintenance, and we can have if we could have a partnership with someone who would do the maintenance, maybe we could buy the porta potty. So it depends on what kind of agreement we can come to. Hector. we should perhaps reply that we're interested in working together. That's a different matter. Perhaps that Recreation Committee or the Community Development Department could look at different options and could bring back a recommendation to the council. If we buy these things, who takes care of them? Neil, we have a meeting next Thursday, so I'll bring it up at the meeting, and I'll bring back a report to the council. We'll be around the table to have more discussion so that things will be clearer. Report from the CAO on the Metegan sewer system. We are still waiting on news concerning our application for the extension under Build Canada Fund. There will be advertisements put out for the projects soon in the region, and perhaps our region will be one of the lucky ones. And for those of you who don't remember, the proposed route would begin at AF Terrio and would go almost to the Placide Como Road and would have the potential to connect up 57 residences to the sewer system. And there are tenders that closed on the 11th of June for the Belleville Cove programmable logic controller and upgrade for the sewer system. This is something that is necessary so that the system works. And this is there will be a decision later on this evening to award this tender concerning the Rendezvous de la Baie. The new cafe opened a little earlier this month. We wish them a lot of success in their business, and we encourage the residents of Clare to visit the cafe. The Clare organizational study work is continuing. The document had 24 recommendations. Work is continuing on them. We are concentrating our efforts, first of all, on the recommendations concerning the structures for employees and how the work process will go forward, and the governance structures. We expect that we will be working probably on 3/4 of the recommendations within a couple of months. We'll be starting to work on them. So that's going ahead well. And those who want to read the study, if you haven't done so already, and the recommendations, there are copies on our municipal website under What's New. Concerning staff, it's my pleasure this evening to announce 2 new employees who are here with us tonight. We have our new financial director, Emmanuel D'Entremont, who's here with us in the audience, and Alain Poirier, my new assistant. I wish you welcome among us. We began on the same day, so we've been pretty busy for the first couple of weeks. They are the 2 new ones are learning their new roles really quickly, and I congratulate them. Thank you. Are there any questions? Brian, for the extension of the sewer system, there are 3 businesses. They have the ice cream and Riverside. I don't know whether those who are going to do the work will be able to contact those people, because that's a concern for them, whether that will affect their businesses and the way they function. Yes, they will be contacted. As soon as we know how the project is going to go ahead, we will inform them. But if the work began and there had been no communication, there will be communication, and my engineer said that if the work goes ahead, there would always be a lane open. They won't close both lanes. So and it will only affect one side, and they won't close both lanes. We should perhaps send a letter of congratulations to the Lisate Cafe. We should send that to Cord. Yes. There will be an official opening in September, but we should certainly send them a note. Are there any other questions? Committee reports. I think that Recreation has its last meeting very soon. After that, the agenda will change for the public meeting. We will readjust our committees, saying that. Uh, 10.1 Building Permits Report in English. There's no report for the Recreation Committee, but on the 1st of July will be activities at the Smuggler's Cove on the 1st of July on Canada Day. There will be a lot of activities, music, all kinds of things on the last Wednesday. Planning Committee, we have a email that says we can register.
They can register now. They already have some registrations, so it will be a good event. I think Kelowna, BC was the first one to register. So the first one right away in the morning. And I know a lot of people in Yarmouth, so there are some who are talking about having a groups or some groups come in, so there will be a lot. I think it will be a big event. So I want to congratulate the staff. They all got together for the registrations and all that. And I think the council has a small role in there. All chances that we have is to encourage people and to advise them of what is going on. We will certainly do that. It is an event that will be a good event at this end of the province. The Planning Committee. The Villa Acadienne, there was no meeting. There will be a meeting next Tuesday on the 24th. Waste check, no report. Unless Connie has something to report, no. So just saying that it is becoming complicated under the reports, but as we go ahead, when the Recreation has their last meeting and the Economic Development Committee puts a committee in place, we will readjust the agenda and it will be clearer for everyone. But I will ask the public to have a bit of patience. It is a lot of work and we are going forward. The motions are coming in July. 11.1 new business. The municipal funding for improving Atlantic salmon habitat. Robert, it's just to inform you, I I asked Connie to have the staff to work on this, and the group that sees that the funds, the 30 millions that was established, and there is money, and some people did get some projects, and I think that our staff, our same group who organized the Gondo would work with Roland to have a project from the municipality. When I look at those emails, I wonder when we receive that we wonder when we receive these informations if these people are aware, like the Salmon River Salmon Association. But it's all information given out at the UNSM. But Roland is in contact with the association, and the conservation fund. Somebody, I think somebody is in contact with them, but I'm not sure. But I think we should get in contact. I spoke with Roland when we did get that email. I transferred it to him, so he is aware, and I hope that he is working on it. The department, uh, the economic development or the community economic development committee is aware, but the request has to come from the municipality. So we would of course work with other people to get this going. It would be from Connie to see where it is appropriate. But I think in terms of visions, it's a good idea. I just want to be clear that we can make the application on behalf of the municipality. We have not gone there yet, but these are applications that are done for 2016, and we have to put together a request and present it to the council and then go forward. But I think it's more that they contact the group that he works with to look at the possibilities, because if it is us who makes the request, I agree that it is a major request to make. The motion to transfer gas tax funds, Manuel will take this one.
Oh my God.
Welcome. I would like to introduce myself, but I think there's only one that I didn't meet was Mr. Hill. This is a motion that needs to pass for the transfer. There were expenses made in two different projects that qualified for the gas tax fund, and these funds must be transferred from the capital fund reserve to the general operations to cover the expenses that were already made. The two projects involved is the project on the solid waste transfer station and the Clare Recycling Center, the upgrade for more storage. The part of the expenses was for the actual work, and one of the requests to the foundation to this, but we need a motion to do the transfer.
Oh my
Anybody second? Seconded by Ducel. Any questions or comment on the motion? It's nice to have our Director of Finance here if you have questions. If not, are you ready for the vote? Question is called. All those in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary, no. Motion carried. 11.3, motion to accept the Bellevos Cove wastewater treatment plant and a computer upgrade. if somebody wants to make the motion and second it and then have an explanation. Anybody to second? Seconded. Do you want to explain? Just in general, it's a project that assists to the sewer treatment. We don't need all the technical details, but the work that is coming from this. How did it work before we had this? But I think you will still ask afterwards. We didn't need this before, but we need it now. The computer systems have to speak to each other to control the sludge and the aerobic treatment process. So it is something that it is difficult to control as it is. So the system is long overdue, needs to be done. I want to add that the building has been there for 13 years, the system, and the parts for repairs are pretty rare because the technology is changing. I spoke with Jody today and he explained a bit what it was, so it needs to be upgraded. When I asked for comments, I meant more on the finances we had budgeted. It's not the system details that we were looking for. That's not in my expertise to talk about the system, but anyway, it was put in the budget. We had two quotes, and one was for $38,800 and another for $51,000. So the motion that we are making, does it meet the needs? Originally, the amount would come from the reserves, but this year we actually have an amount for the project. So this, for example, is to be around $4,000 more than what we had in the budget. But we have the money in reserve that we can use for this. It was an amount that was a bit unknown because the system is so complicated that it was hard to find a precise quote that was close enough. So there is a motion on the floor. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary, no. Motion carried. 11.4, we added the home invasions break-ins. A lot of people are talking that they are worried about the break-in enters that are taking place in our community. We always had in camps and different places, but now it is in the homes and everywhere, and the people are scared, especially the people who are alone. What happens if they find somebody stealing in their house one night? So I know there is no easy answer, and it is a big preoccupation for the RCMP, and I know that the warden contacted people, but I want to say that some people are talking about setting up a neighborhood watch, which would be good, but we want to encourage people who see things that don't look good to call the cops and let them know. This is not small infractions. These are things that are not legal, and it is dangerous, and some people might get hurt. So we want the people to report anything that they see which is out of the ordinary. And also I would encourage the warden to be in contact with the RCMP to report on what is taking place. If you continue with that, it will show our interest as a big priority from us. Any more comments? I spoke with the RCMP also, but they take all cases seriously and they have the assistance from the other communities. There is no doubt it is a big concern for the municipality. It really doesn't make any difference where you are, you hear stories. So thank you for your comments, and I agree, if somebody sees anything, we need the help. So we will go on to item 12. We need a motion to go in camera. Moved that we go in camera. Moved by Brian, seconded by Russell. And before we go to the question, I would like to say, for those who are on the air, this was the last item on the regular agenda. So we have 4 items in camera, just so that you know what there is. 12.1, the capital plan for the Department of Health, of Fire. 12.2, land acquisition. 12.3, internet mail use, and 12.4, personal question. So saying that, I want to wish everyone a good evening, and we will go on to the vote. Anybody in favor indicate by saying yes. Against, motion carried.